evacuate the dance floor. Ejected with the ground. I don't know the word.
Ejected with the ground.
Not sure. I don't care. You know why? Because it doesn't feature Pitbull.
It's true, actually. Mr. Worldwide himself.
Mr. Worldwide. Now, no lollygagging.
No lollygagging.
This episode. Hard candies only.
Oh.
What we're going to... Werther's Originals.
Okay, yep, sure. Gotcha.
You want a butterscotch candy?
God.
Welcome to the Jobs of Knowledge podcast.
Hello.
Usual banter at the start.
Indeedy.
Really is great banter.
It's good. It really is.
It really
is.
Like us on Instagram, TikTok.
Yep.
Follow the YouTube, Spotify, Apple. You can listen to it there. Google Play, iHeartRadio, other listening websites.
That was impressive.
After you've done all that, sit down, get a nice cup of joe, and let us go inside your ears and into your brain.
Where do you think they got the name Cup of Joe from?
I would hate to find out.
I'm probably going to figure it out at some point.
Please don't. That's next episode. But this episode is about what?
Witchcraft and wizardry, sir.
Wizardry. Witchcraft and wizardry.
Witchcraft and wizardry.
Am I a wizard? We're about to find out, I guess.
Is your name Harry?
Well, I mean, I'm adopted.
I didn't hear about any Joshes that were in Hogwarts.
Yeah, they were mainly in Hufflepuff.
Okay, now fair enough. Okay,
Yeah.
so wizards and witchcraft. So this sort of thing came about. Well, what do you know about
Basically,
witches
just
and
Harry
wizards?
Potter references. I'm not a massive
Yep.
Harry Potter fan.
Okay.
I'm sorry, guys. I watched the first 4 and I was sort of like, these are all very similar. You know why? Because this is what happens in every Harry Potter movie, right? So old mate's under the stairs going, oh, this sucks.
Yeah, okay.
Stairs suck. Old mate uncle is hitting me, chucking me under the stairs. You know, you're a grown man, Harry.
Yeah.
Get out, sir. Anyway. So he gets out from under the stairs and he goes, all right, Ron, let's go and find a device that's not meant to fly and let's fly to this castle on an island. So they find a train that flies or a car that flies or something like that. And they go, whee, let's go to Hogwarts, Harry. And then they'll get there, right?
Yeah,
and they'll be like, Hermione's looking all right.
Okay.
What's going on here? And she's all like, oh, my hair's very, very fuzzy because she's got real curly, fuzzy hair.
That is true.
And then something will happen. There'll be a big, oversized version of something that's not like a spider.
Sure.
Like, I guess a troll's already big. A snake, anything like that.
Yeah,
and that McGonagall lady, the old bat, will be like, Hogwarts is in grave danger, right? And then Harry will be like, nah, I'll save it. Don't worry about it. So I guess he's gang together. And off they go and they go, wibbledy bobbledy bee. And they shoot a spell at the snake or the spider.
Wibbledy bobbledy bee.
Yeah. And the big bearded man's like,
Yep.
oh, that Harry's
Hagrid.
bloody good, isn't he? He's all right.
He's all
He's all right.
right.
Then off he goes back
Good
to the
bloke.
cupboard behind the stairs. And they do it all again the next year. You know what I'm saying?
I do, but you just simplified it, and it's so funny. It's not wrong, though.
It's not, is it?
But it's like, it is, but it isn't. There is so many things, and like to save the grace that is Harry Potter.
Yes.
I'm
not hating on Harry Potter. I'm just saying.
It's just for someone that doesn't necessarily like Harry Potter. That's definitely the linear and how it looks on a.
I simplified it for our listeners.
Very much so.
You know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, simplified it for you guys.
I have to admit though, it does get very adult after the 4th book.
Well, you should have hooked me before that.
I'm sorry, mate. I'm sorry. I should have tried better. But thousands of years ago, in places like Greece and Rome, using magic, right? And you'll probably notice that, like in some of these Harry Potter books and movies and things, they do show that magic is sort of illegal to show to certain people that aren't magical.
Well, I do. The only magic I've been around recently was watching Peaky Blinders.
I thought you were going to say David Blaine, but okay, yeah, continue.
No, Copperfield.
Copperfield. Oh.
They blow the red dust onto the horse.
Yeah.
And they're like, you put a spell on the horse. He's going to win the races.
Yeah. Oh, okay, right.
Something like that.
With the accent and all.
I mean, I tried.
That's fair. No. Well,
Anyway,
they're gypsies. So
please go on.
No, so you're going along the lines of the majority of what we hear about witches and wizards is in the fantasy realm. It's not really to hurt people. They kind of do it,
except the big spider or snake.
Well, except for the big spider or snake. But for example, in Rome, it was illegal for someone to use magic to steal his neighbor's crops.
I mean, it checks out.
I thought so. Yeah. So we also know this because two Roman writers, Pliny and Seneca, mentioned it. Like they were talking about the 12 original laws of Rome, and this was one of them. You can't use magic to steal other people's crops.
Imagine how interesting it would be if you could if I went back to ancient Rome but had my modern brain. Oh, and you could just like trick people. This is probably what they thought magic was. It's like someone was just a little bit smarter and be like, I can convince these idiots that this horse can jump over a building. And they're like, I saw it. I swear I saw it. And everyone's like, I didn't see it. It's like, no, I swear on all of the gods. And they'll be like, oh, what the gods? The horse
he must have done it.
Must have done it.
But, like there are entire spell books that were written thousands of years ago with like, this is how you do these enchantments and such.
Yes.
Right? So, these are like the instructions of how to cast these spells. And eventually books were written on how witches could be identified. Okay.
Burn them.
Now, so it started off with everybody going, oh, don't do that because, you're not allowed to.
Don't do that, yeah.
But then it continued on to get a little worse.
Like most things
like
back
most
in those
things,
days.
as we know, and I will go in a little bit further, but eventually, like I said, books were written on how witches could be identified and punished. The most famous of these was called the Malus Maleficarum, Hammer of Witches.
Great pronunciation from you.
Maleficarum.
Yes.
Yes. The Hammer of Witches.
Okay.
Which was written by two German priests. Of course it was. They were going against the church. Heinrich Kramer and Jakob Sprenger from 1486. 1486.
Like Seinfeld meets Breaking Bad.
What a crossover.
What a crossover.
What a crossover. Oh, no.
Oh, my God. We need to cook up this batch.
Kramer barges in and he's wearing the yellow jumpsuit with a Heisenberg hat.
Where did you get that hat?
I'm the one who knocks. Boosh, walks through.
Yes.
But this was also a time where people began to believe that witches had some amazing powers. Okay, so it was that 1400s.
Yeah. Well done, guys. Great job.
All right, so it began there. It began there where it was like, oh, actually, these people have some serious power. They don't.
We're getting convinced.
Really convinced, like scarily convinced. And that was also written in the Malice, like I said. So the people thought the witches would rub ointment on themselves or their broomsticks in order to fly to gatherings at night where they would cook and eat children.
Ooh, that's
now,
a bit risque.
Does this not sound similar to some...
The Church of... George Rolf?
Yeah, let's go with that. No, but they also thought, like I said, they would turn people into animals.
Okay.
So this is where, like, eventually moved this way into like folklore. So like Hansel and Gretel. Okay?
So they believed that a witch could turn someone into like a cat or a frog.
Yes. Oh, he turned me into a newt.
Oh,
Darn. I got better.
Oh, good. How's it going? How's the rehab?
So it's not bad.
It's not bad. Could be bad.
So witchcraft traditionally means that the use of magic or supernatural powers to harm others. That's kind of where witchcraft has gone.
The witchcraft, not being a witch, but the witchcraft.
The witchcraft, the use of witchcraft. Yes. Okay. A practitioner is a witch. So witches, witchcraft.
So my doctor's a witch.
Yes. Witch doctor.
A general practitioner?
Witch doctor.
Oh, God.
Yeah, see?
I wondered why they had a boiling vat of bubbly, weird soup in the corner last time. And their hat was very pointy.
Yes.
Yeah. And when I said, hey, can I please get a blood test? They went...
Yeah, it's always the laugh that gets you.
Yeah, it was really weird, but I brushed it off.
But we'll talk about that.
Okay.
We'll talk about that. Not the laugh specifically, but we'll talk about that.
My doctor's appointment?
So in medieval and early modern Europe, where the term originated, so witchcraft and witches,
Europe.
The accused witches were usually women who believed to have attacked their own community and often to have communed with evil beings.
Okay.
Okay, now the male vocation... You like that? Vocation.
Very good.
Yes, thank you. Was usually known by what name, Josh?
A witch.
Well, No.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay.
If the woman is a witch, then the man is a wizard.
Wizard. Oh,
It's a wizard,
know
Josh.
that? Yes,
it's a wizard.
Yes,
However,
it's so obvious.
However, due to like 15th and 16th century kind of thought process, wizards normally portrayed were known as being men, and were kind of, being the whole sexist nonsense stuff that went back those days.
I'm going to start identifying as a witch.
Well, there you go. Well, it made the female vocation of witchcraft seem more evil, whereas wizards were seen as more as a helpful source without the sacrifice.
Well, okay. So the sacrifice aside, I'd say the blue cloak with the stars on it, with the baggy sleeves, is a more friendly thing than an all black.
Well, you're going against like the whole Maleficent from like the Wizard of Oz, the great, and then you've got Merlin, who just seems to be a happy-go-lucky bloke.
Big nerd.
Yeah, big nerd.
Big nerd.
Definitely plays Dungeons and Dragons.
He does. He rolled a D20.
Hey, well done.
Thank you, sir.
I'm impressed.
Yep.
But we're not here to this evening to talk
I'm
about
a
the nice
half-elf bard.
Wow. Does that mean anything to you?
No. No.
See, I've started encountering people that think they know about Dungeons and Dragons because they've watched 4 seasons of Stranger Things. Whereas I played it. I'm a nerd, and I've played it for numerous years.
Your entire life.
So when I hear, I was like,
Yes.
And then what else do you know?
No, a half-elf bard doesn't cast that spell in that realm.
As I push the glasses onto my face with my middle finger.
No, you'd have a monocle.
That's true. I'd have a monocle. Hey, well, I do say, dear boy, you are mistaken. But like I said, we're not here this evening to talk about the nice fluffy stuff like Harry Potter or Dorothy and her Wizard of Oz encounters.
No.
We're actually here to talk about something a little bit more sinister because I like doing that.
Dive in.
Okay, are we ready?
Let's get in this boiling pot of lies.
We are here to talk about the years between 1300 and 1660. Okay? The witch trials, so the European and the Salem
I hate
witch
the American
trials.
spin-off of that.
Right?
Yes.
They always just, they bastardize it. They
Yes.
really do.
Well done, BBC.
Right? Like, BBC got it right.
Yes. Except The Office. Sorry, guys.
See, that's the thing. The Office originated with the British.
I know.
And then the Americans came along.
It's
and was
the only
like,
one they've done better. Let's not
Okay,
talk about the in-betweeners.
we're not gonna
Let's talk about witches and wizards.
Up to 80,000 suspected witches were put to death in Europe.
Fantastic. I mean, if they were actually witches, fantastic.
80,000.
That is so many people.
So many people.
But you could imagine the old public execution, how rowdy it would have been.
Well, yeah.
Would have been the Northern Terrace of the Melbourne Victory.
Or the yellow and black wall of
Borussia Dortmund. James. Sports reference.
Sports, thank you.
Yep.
I did all right.
You're a sports guy.
Hey, I like
Enjoy watching Skamaka up front this season.
It's going to be great. So around 80% of them were women and thought to be in cahoots with the devil and filled with lust.
So what made them suspect this?
So there were a lot of, during this time where they actually wrote this book, there was a lot of people that were going around. There was a lot of paganism around that time of where Christianity was really coming
to the forefront.
To the forefront. Yes. Well, more so, I think. It was a bit more of we're taking over the world sort of thing.
Yes.
Not necessarily crusades, because that was further back.
I know what you mean.
But yeah, it was like, you're not Christian? You should probably...
Damn you to heck.
Pretty much, yeah. You're not a Christian? Die.
Oh.
And this is how we're going to do it.
So if you're not a Christian, you're a witch.
So and that's what... It's so intertwined with that sort of thinking, and I reckon it was obviously a fear thing. It was a fear thing. Okay, well, if they're not Christian, you know what they're doing? They're clearly doing the complete opposite of what we're doing.
For sure.
Correct. It's devil's work.
Devil's work.
Okay. So, and Germany had the highest witchcraft execution rate.
I love Germany so much, but I mean, it played out that way. That's for sure.
And while Ireland was the lowest.
Oh,
yeah, just for a little bit of something.
Guinness and a potato.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, too busy drunk.
Now, have you heard of Salem before?
No.
So, never in a
I've heard the word before, but I wouldn't know what it means.
So Salem is in Massachusetts in America. Now, the Salem witch trials actually occurred in colonial Massachusetts between 1692 and 1693. Now, in a year, more than 200 people were accused of practicing witchcraft. The devil's magic.
The devil's magic.
Careful. And 20 were actually executed.
Okay.
So were found, tried. But
That's
this is
not bad.
It's
odds.
not bad, but it's extensive testing. So over the year, 200 of them, but how long were they waiting? How long were they trialed? How long were they
Vetting
tortured?
process. How long did that take?
Exactly.
What do you reckon the process was to find it if you're a witch? They throw a broom at you, and if you catch it and it flies, you're like, witch!
I will tell you.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I will tell
me
you.
right now.
So, like I said, eventually the colony admitted that the trials were a mistake and compensated the families of those convicted. But it was a bit too late, I feel. But because of this, since then, a lot of the stories and trials that have come synonymous with paranoia and injustice in that sort of time frame.
That's why Batman should have been around then.
So, well, yeah. Can you imagine?
I'm Batman.
Witch! She's a witch!
No, he's a witch.
She's a bat!
Catwoman's just a witch.
Yes.
Yeah, all black, flies around.
But before I go into how witch hunters found their witches,
Keep me waiting.
Bridget Bishop, funnily enough, a Christian name, Bishop.
Yes, I got it.
1632 to 1692 was the first person executed for witchcraft during the Salem witch trials in 1692. Okay. So how did they actually determine who was a witch? Do you know?
Hit me. No, I haven't.
Well, you said, do they throw a broom at them? Like, have you got any thoughts? Like, how would you... Surely you've heard some theories.
I honestly have not.
No? Okay.
No, I
okay.
have not. I'm going in completely dry.
I like this. This is good. So witch hunters often had their suspects stripped and publicly examined for signs of unsightly blemishes that
like
witches
moles.
were said to receive upon making their pact with Satan.
Oh.
This was called the devil's mark or a witch's mark.
Oh, my.
Could supposedly change shape and colour and was believed to be numb and insensitive to pain.
Oh, no. So they beat them up. Good old-fashioned possum stomp.
Yeah, and also that area specifically.
This is another one of those things where it's like you're beating people up to see if they're a witch, but they're like realistically, witches aren't real. So when none of them could survive the pain, what do they do? Be like, well, we've beaten up 200 people.
Oh, they're dead because we killed them thinking they were a witch. Sorry, here's compensation. But they're still dead.
Here's a bowl of
we were wrong.
I am all torn up inside.
Here's 2 cows.
2?
Yeah, I know. I was being. They were feeling generous at that point.
Sir.
Oh no, it's a lot.
Au contraire.
The swimming test.
Oh.
What can you think? What do you think that entails?
Well, I'd say that you're going to throw them in the water and see if they sink.
Yes, that is that. So you have heard that one before?
I have not. That was a complete guess. But my brain is like, if I was a witch,
yeah, okay.
I would want to sink.
Yeah, okay, it's fair. Like, get away from these stupid people. So people accused of witchcraft were dragged to the first place with water. Literally just, there's the water, straight to the well.
There's a puddle.
Doesn't matter. Yep. They were undressed and thrown into the water for judges to see if the person was floating or sinking. Since the witches would disregard the Baptist oath, okay, it was considered that the water would not allow the body to sink.
Okay. Once again, though, like, they're all going to float.
Yeah, well, and then they would say, well, and here's the thing. Not everybody could swim.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Not everybody could swim. 2, again, the whole sexist nature of those times. Women weren't really taught things outside of home economics.
Home economics.
You know what I mean?
I loved home ec at school, by the way, just to throw it out there.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was great fun. Minestrone I made once.
I made an apple pie.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yep.
See, the last thing I remember cooking at home ec was minestrone. But the problem with that was I put it into a flask and the flask had like a glass inner.
Oh.
by the time I got home, the glass had smashed on the inside.
You're a fool.
I don't know how.
And that, my dear ladies and gentlemen listening to this podcast, means he's a witch. Burn him. Burn him now.
I can swim, thank the Lord.
I would like to see that.
Well, you've never seen me.
Backhand.
Yeah, it's a way. No, it helps me dart in and out. Like it's
You get
anyway.
caught in the seaweed.
Oh, jeez. Anyway,
Yeah.
so according to this logic, the innocent person would have sunk like a stone, and the witch would have floated to the surface.
All of them are witches. Oh, God. They're just trying to get rid of people.
Do you see the problem here?
Just make a child limit like China did, guys. It's so simple.
Those that clearly could swim
Yes.
would just lie flat and would be like...
So the ones with the ability to swim would be killed.
because for witchcraft...
And they wonder why no one could swim.
Those that
they're all
could-
dead.
Yeah, and those that sunk was like, well, they couldn't swim, clearly. So they, drowned. So they drowned.
People are so stupid.
And then they were like, oh, damn,
Oh,
here's a head of cows.
here's a herd of cows.
Well, a head of cows, one.
A murder
Anyway,
of
a
cows.
murder of cows.
Yes.
But, yeah, ridiculous.
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
So everyone died.
So clearly they often died due to drowning. Clearly. Like, what makes you think of doing these things?
I don't know.
Fear. It is totally to do with fear. Like the remember I said that the Malus Maleficarum was written by priests who were trying to get people to be like, oh, that's evil.
So they were trying
this
to basically
is good.
be like, if you're not a Christian, you must be a witch and you will be murdered for not following our belief.
Yeah.
Fantastic. A great
Or punish.
foundation to build a society of
I think
people.
so. Which brings us to the next one, which is the prayer test. Now, the prayer test in medieval times, it was believed that the witches could not utter the words in Scripture. So anything in the Bible, or usually following our Father, okay, without making any mistakes. Okay, so if the person was wrong for any reason, she was considered a witch who speaks in the name of the devil.
Must be from all the education I'm sure they got.
So
How to
after-
read
well,
them
that's
right.
it. So after Salem,
Yeah.
okay, remember in 1692, in 1712,
Okay.
the method was applied to Jane Wenham, who was accused of witchcraft,
Sounds like a witch.
who seemed to just have struggled to utter the words, "Forgive us our sins and lead us not unto temptation."
Oh God, I was gonna murder you just then if you
Unto-
were a witch.
Yeah, well, so again, like this is, she just
made a
got done by, she
small
made a grammatical
error.
error. She got done by, and then when they were like during this, a sorcerer, right, by the name of George Burroughs, recited the prayer without interruption before it was performed. So he was just recited it. And because of this, the gesture was considered a trick of the devil, and the man was hung.
Oh my.
So it didn't matter. The further we get into this, we realize it didn't matter if you might have had a stutter, but witchcraft, you didn't say it correctly.
You might have not been taught how to speak or read or write.
You might have been able to read it perfectly. Work of the devil, hung.
Because I believe
Why?
it must be the devil.
Clearly, the devil.
Okay.
Another one was the touch test, Josh. Now, the touch test is a bit simpler.
As if they're cold?
Was based on the fact that the witches have a special reaction to physical contact. If they did not make any gesture, they were considered innocent. But if they moved,
So what did they do to them?
it was considered a gesture and proved the existence of occult forces.
Because like one of those things, what if they gave them a big Chinese burn? You're going to move. Grabbed the old
Yep.
thigh and squeezed.
Absolutely. So a lot of people were actually just gone, my neighbour's a witch, because
I suspect my neighbour
suspect
may be
them.
a witch.
Realistically, they probably just didn't like them, or they found them.
Yeah.
Maybe they ate one of their chickens.
That's chaos because you'd just be selling out people
Yeah.
afraid that your neighbour might sell you out.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
Everyone's just accusing everyone
It's
of being
nuts.
a witch.
Maybe they ate something that wasn't theirs, like a witch's cake, Josh. The witch's cake test was considered a supernatural dessert to identify suspicious witches. Suspicious witches. They're already witches.
We're not sure.
We know they're witches,
but this one's a bit sus. Bit sus. This witch is a bit sus, and I don't like.
I don't like
getting
how
bad
sus
vibes.
So Hermione's come and eaten
Hermione.
So in the event of a mysterious illness, what?
Hermione was a witch.
Oh, we should have known. We should have known. It was something about the wand.
Yeah.
And the way she
laughed,
twiddled it.
Oh yeah, when she twiddled that
twiddled the wand.
Twiddle-dee, dum plum dum. Please, Goffle House, show me the way.
And what was it? What does that do? What does that particular one do?
Well, it actually starts boiling the vat, James, which the witches boiled their children in.
Children and frogs.
And frogs together for a nice pork beef lasagna blend.
Now, the witch cake. The witch's cake. Yes. So it was in the event of a mysterious illness or possession, witch hunters took a sample of the victim's urine, mixed it with rye flour and ash, and baked it into a cake. This mixture was then fed to a dog in the hope that it would be enchanted.
Like Shrek.
And
like the
say its name.
This is Shrek. This is Shrek 1.
It's
Because
Shrek
the donkey, the dog, donkey, same thing.
Yeah.
No, it's not, but it is. Starts flying, it becomes enchanted, starts saying, my name's Donkey.
Yeah.
So you reckon they had some urine cake?
I read urine cake.
It's urine cake for sure.
Urine
Is
trouble.
that what those little urine cakes are in the urinals for the men?
Yeah. Don't eat them.
Don't eat them. They could have told me that 3 years ago. Wait, I was still in my mid-20s then. 30, I'm not that old. I don't know.
You know, it doesn't matter. Because you've also got incantations, Josh.
Okay.
So clearly, the test involved forcing the accused person to verbally order the devil to allow the possession of a person and to get out of the trance.
Okay.
Okay, so either to allow or take them out of the trance. The practice was often used in the 16th century during the trial of Alice Samuel and her entire family.
Okay.
The whole family.
The whole family of people.
The judges forced the husband to utter the following incantation to free the girls from his spell.
What's a group of witches called?
A gaggle.
A gaggle of witches, yes. Fantastic. Yes.
I actually don't know.
No, it's a gaggle.
I like
it's a gaggle now.
Is it a gaggle of witches?
Yes.
I was going to say cackle, but gaggle sounds better.
Say parliament of witches.
Parliament of witches.
No, I like gaggle because they do
gaggle. They do.
It's more of a cackle.
It's a cackle of witches. It's a cackle of witches.
Yes.
So he was asked to utter the spell. I am a witch. Forced to do this. I am a witch, so I ask the devil to allow Mrs. Throckmorton to wake up from the spell.
Okay.
These sorts of incantations were believed by some to not really have any effect or the effect mentioned within the incantation itself.
Oh my!
So that's in quote. This is in quotations from a. This is from a research paper.
An official
source.
Wikipedia.
No, this was actually from the Smithsonian.
Oh. Isn't that a big telescope? I'm joking, but it sounded funny.
But it does sound like it.
Well, that was the place they collide atoms together.
No, that's the Hadron Collider.
I know, it just sounds funny. Sorry, I'm
That's a
being
kaleidoscope.
Stupid.
No, it's not.
Oh, please go on.
But it was actually to scare people into thinking, oh, hang on, maybe I was possessed. No, I'm fine now. And then everybody's freaking out and they're like, oh, that guy actually was a witch.
They were a witch.
There you go. So if a witch or a wizard were identified, this is where we wanted to hear now, right?
Once we've confirmed,
like Mythbusters.
Yes, plausible.
It's plausible.
Carrie Barr
they would end up executed.
A witch of my heart.
By being buried alive. I'm sorry, burned alive. I can't read. Burned
probably you weren't
alive.
Looking at the
it probably was. I wasn't.
Yeah.
Burned alive.
Yes.
At the stake. Now, legend has it that they say that this type of execution was chosen in order to make sure the soul of the wizard or the witch was burned so that it would not come back to haunt others.
So like really burned,
just
like
really
char.
like crisp, like gone.
How do you like your witch?
Medium well done.
Medium well done. Yeah. Okay.
I like a little bit of something left on it.
All right. A little bit of
sauce. Maybe a little bit of béarnaise sauce.
Oh.
Yeah.
What would you pair it with? A nice Sauvignon Blanc?
A Sauvignon Blanc or a nice Chianti.
Ooh, Father Beans.
Yes, Papa Beans. Hello, Clarice. Modern day witches and wizards, Josh. Modern day. Potter.
Yes.
Harry
Potter.
Harry Potter.
That was Indian.
That was very
Bollywood.
Indian. That was great.
I was trying to do
Can you imagine a Bollywood Harry Potter?
Ding, 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 ding. Zap. Spider gone.
There'll be so much music. It'll be amazing.
Absolutely.
I'd thoroughly enjoy that, actually. Bollywood.
Get your shit together.
And make a Harry Potter.
Up. Brett Lee, if you're out there.
How many do you do?
How many do you do?
That was a Weet-Bix joke for those that didn't know.
Yes. No, I did.
But today's wizards have mostly been relegated to fantasy or to stage performers. Okay.
Yeah.
Who usually call themselves magicians. Okay.
Johnny Depp would seem a lot like a witch or a wizard.
I think it's because of the hands from
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
But witches have become more common than ever.
Oh, what?
Yeah. So in the 1940s and 50s, a new, and I'm going to quotation, religious movement appeared called Wicca. So it's actually been, it's
like the chairs?
Yeah. They've been making chairs since the 40s.
Okay, good. Well, at least they're
specific groups of women.
At least they've got employment.
Yes,
At least they're part of the workforce. It's great.
Like the whole...
Thank you to the government for setting up this organisation so witches can get back in the workforce as part of their rehabilitation. Fantastic, and I'm glad I pay tax for that. Wicca chairs, they're just a witch rehabilitation program from the government.
They've got a separate line at like Centrelink.
Witches
and wizards.
Bogans.
Witches and wizards to your left,
Yes.
bogans to your right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Number 94.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, righto.
What if I identify as both? Anyway. So witches become, like I said, more common than ever. So in the 1950s and 40s and 50s, Wicca became a bit more of a prominent, religion, really.
Yes.
It was following off from a lot of the pagan rituals and witchcraft that would typically involve a worship of a goddess. So these magic rituals had been part of Wiccan practice, but isn't completely necessary. The whole following of such things is like, there's a goddess of the wilderness, there's a goddess of this, that, and the other, there's a god of the water, there's a whatever.
So as once people started getting mobile phones and getting more bored, and they started making up, where I'm a witch now and all this sort of stuff.
Well, it's a lot of the things like we've seen a lot of people, like I know a lot of people that utilize crystals and burning of sage and this sort of thing in their households, which is which is which.
Burn them.
I mean, it's not exactly something we can do these days, but
you can.
I mean, people have really thrown themselves into this sort of these sorts of aspects of their lives these days, and it's coming back in a big way, especially during the COVID season. For
better or for worse, and I'll let you decide which one that is.
Are you a witch or a wizard? Please don't contact us.
Yeah, don't comment that.
Don't let us know.
Well, that was a fantastic episode.
Thank you.
Enchantingly good episode.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, thank you.
Did you enjoy it?
I did.
What did you learn?
I learned that if you can't swim, you're a witch.
Pretty much, straight up.
No, if you can swim, you're a witch.
Yeah, if you can swim.
If you can't swim, you're not a witch, but you're dead because you can't swim and you're currently in a pool.
Yep. But your family will be compensated with a herd of cows.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Yes. Well, how are we going to sign off this one, James? Should I cast a spell?
I think you should. I want to hear, Josh is going to sign off tonight with one of his most fantabulous spells. What does your spell do?
It says goodbye to the listeners and makes them all subscribe to the Drop Some Knowledge podcast on all of our social media platforms.
Oh, there you go. All right. And here is Josh now.
Huddly widdly biddly bee. Please subscribe and listen to me. Waddle-dee wiggle-dee biddle-dee chow. Drop Some Knowledge podcast is wow. Thank you so much. Listen to our podcast.